It's not yours to determine the outcome. That sounds weird. Julie, wait, I'm doing all the work. I want this outcome. I'm doing this work so that XYZ can happen. Yeah, well, you know what? You do get to take the action, but the outcome is probably going to turn out different than you anticipate. Welcome to the Conscious Investor. Let's get started. Welcome back, Conscious Investor. Are you ready for success? Goodness gracious, I have 5 proven action steps, things that you can do right now to catapult your success. 2023 is right around the corner. You want to be ready. But the great thing is that this isn't something that is, okay, it's just for 2023. These 5 steps are steps that you should just be recycle constantly on your mind, because they are going to help you every single step of the way. Before we dive into that, I just want to say thank you. I've had some of the best reviews and I have had some of the best messages from you, and you just put wind in my sails. And, we're over 300 episodes now, and it's because I hear back from you. I see you at events, I see you on social media, and we engage. And it just makes my heart happy to know that you are encouraged by all of this content. So I just want to say thank you. And if we haven't had a chance to actually connect up on a phone call, please make sure, head over to 3 Keys Investments and schedule a time. Let's talk. It's not like sometimes people are like, oh, you're the podcaster. Like, no, I'm a human being and I do this for you. And just like I have conversations with my investors and say, okay, well, what works about this investment or doesn't work about it? Because I want to know your needs so I can better serve you. I want to be able to give you the things that you are looking for. So same, right? I want to be able to give you content that will support you where you are. So in your reviews, in your messages, over on social media, or when you schedule time to talk, it lets we get to have a relationship. I get to know you better, and I can create content that will absolutely serve, support, and encourage you. And that is my heart's desire right there, is to just lift you up so that you can absolutely exceed all of the expectations that you have for yourself. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's dive into this. 5 proven action steps for success. Number 1. All right. So here's a reality. You can't control all the variables. Did you guys ever do the science experiments where you have the control group and then you have the other variable groups with the different varieties in them? Like, okay, variable A, variable B. Right. Well, here's the thing. You don't know all the moving parts. You don't know all the active ingredients. You don't know which drop is actually going to make everything go poof. And yet we want to, and we want to try to account for those things. So step number 1 is release. We got to release what we don't have control over. We don't have control over what's happening in the economy, but we have control over the type of assets we're investing in. We don't have control over some of those relationships in our lives, but we have control over how we respond to those people in our lives, right? So we want to look at, what are the variables? What can I control? What do I have zero control over that I need to just simply let go of? And this looks like taking all of your knowledge, all of your experiences, and leveraging those to support you in making the very best decisions. You've got this. Number 2. I'm going to read this. This is so powerful. Adding rocket fuel to something that doesn't work well is going to turn out terribly. Maybe you've already done this. But if you have something and you're super gun ho on it and you're just simply trying to make it work, you might even see the writing on the wall. You might even see like, oh, maybe that isn't the best idea. And you keep putting more rocket fuel in there, expecting it's going to just ignite and be absolutely fantastic. You are going to be sorely disappointed. There was this one investment where we were adding the rocket fuel because guess what? We need and we have to add the rocket fuel in order for something to launch off. But in that process of fueling up the rocket, if you will, we discovered, okay, wait. And I just remember thinking, okay, red flag one. I already spent money. I'd flown out to Columbus, Ohio. There is already money invested, lots of time. Okay, we're here. We're doing due diligence. And we see red flag, red flag, red flag, right? Now, instead of just saying, oh, come on, we can make it work. It's going to be just fine. We'll just make it work. Instead of continuing to add more rocket fuel and trying to find ways to make it work, we pulled the plug and we said, you know what? We don't want to add any more fuel to this one because it's probably going to combust and it's not going to be a good situation. I remember watching this Space Shuttle Challenger when I was in the 6th grade. That is totally dating me, but it is etched in my mind. And when I think of rocket fuel and I think of rockets, you just think it can be a really bad, devastating situation. It affects everybody and it has a trickle effect on lots of lives. So instead of adding that rocket fuel into something that with hopium, hoping that it's going to turn out the way you want it to, really evaluate what is taking place, monitor, and adjust. And that leads to number 3. And that is that success requires humility to adapt your position to the new information. In that case where we were on due diligence in Columbus, Ohio, we were getting new information. There were some surprising new information that we discovered. That's the reason that general partners take their time, their money, and everything to go perform due diligence to ensure, okay, everything really is as we thought it was. And when something isn't, oh man, it takes a lot of humility. It's disappointing. We can feel that disappointment when we say, wow, this is really disappointing. It could be embarrassing. Gosh, this is embarrassing. I thought it was going to be like this, and we've invested time, money, energy. Okay. But if we don't have the humility to adapt and adjust right now with this new information, it can be so much worse. Okay. That can happen with our kids. We might get new information about our kids and their performance at school. And sometimes parents can take that personally, or they can be upset and disappointed with their kid, maybe even angry. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you ask me for help? Right? But instead, just pivoting with the new information and just receiving it for where it is. So we already went from releasing, right, our expectations and releasing all of the things that we have no control over into just receiving information for what it is so that we can act in accordance with that. It takes a lot of humility, but you've got this. Okay. Remember this, number 4. It's not yours to determine the outcome. That sounds weird. Julie, wait, I'm doing all the work. I want this outcome. I'm doing this work so that, right? We always say, so that XYZ can happen. Yeah. Well, you know what? You do get to take the action, but the outcome, it's probably going to turn out different than you anticipate. The very best business plans are being adjusted along the way, right? New information, humility to receive that new information and shift and pivot. And that means that as we're going through a process, in order to be successful, we need to give ourselves that latitude to really adjust with the new information and to not just adjust in that moment, but we need to adjust what the outcome actually looks like. So that might look like, oh, we're going to build 144 units. Oh, wow, we were able to buy more land. Now we can add more units. Oh, wait, interest rates went up. maybe we need to shift how we're going to perceive this. And right. So there can be a lot of back and forth. If that sounds like a real life scenario, that is a real life scenario. If you want to know more about it, reach out to me. It is a great real life scenario. And sometimes the challenges and the outcomes that can exceed our expectations. So we don't always have to lean towards that, oh, it's just going to be negative. No, it could be something really, really great. Okay. Lastly, number 5, I've spoken about this on a recent podcast episode, but if you want to be successful, you must learn to trust your intuition, that gut feeling. It's actually, remember, the episode where we're talking about your subconscious mind, I talk about the subconscious mind on a regular basis because it's so critical to everything that we do. But that subconscious mind is actually part of your intuition, right? Because it's constantly going. Your subconscious mind never quits. It never sleeps. It does not rest. It's always going in the background. That's why you can breathe and you're not thinking about it. That's why your heart is beating and your kidneys are working. Your subconscious mind is just always just like keeping the baseline going for your entire system. Well, that subconscious mind, because it is always alert, that's part of your intuition. It knows things. And sometimes you can't put your finger on it. And that's your subconscious mind saying like, no. You need to trust this. You need to do this. There's a time recently, I feel silly that I can't remember it exactly, but I just within the last week, I had this moment where I absolutely 1,000,000% trusted my intuition, and it was spot on. And it was like, there is no reason to say why I should have known something. But we learn to trust our intuition, and we have to develop that trust because maybe it's not always right? We have to learn, when is that my intuition and when is that just my feelings? And let me learn the difference between the two. Okay. So those are 5 proven actionable steps you can take right now. Remember, number 1, you can't control all the variables and you don't have to. You need to act on the knowledge and the experience that you already have. Number 2, don't add rocket fuel. Okay. If you are adding rocket fuel to something that's not going well, it will turn out terribly. Don't let that happen. Number 3, have the humility to adapt and adjust with the new information. 4th, remember, you don't have control of the outcome, but you have control over your actions that you are taking that can sway that outcome. So don't stop, never stop taking those action. And number 5, trust your intuition. I caught this over on LinkedIn, my favorite social platform. Just do course correct on the way. We never have all the information. Maurice, powerful quote. Love it. Conscious investor, you are fantastic. I wish you the very greatest success, more success than you could ever dream of in your life. And when you follow these steps and you implement good practices in your life, you are going to lead a full, rich life. Okay. Unleash. You were created for great things. You're not created to be fearful. You were created to contribute great things into this world. So Godspeed to you. And until next time, live big, love bigger. Are you enjoying this episode? Where would your life be without content like this? Help spread the word by sharing on your social platforms. And please tag me, Happy Julie Holly.